What's up guys, it's Chris Majestic, and today I have a bit of a surprise review. So this is the BenQ V7050i, which is a new ultra short throw projector from BenQ. Now I've reviewed quite a bit of ultra short throw projectors over the past couple of years, but if you're not familiar with these, they sit directly in front of the screen, just a few inches away, creating a big bright image without the need to run cables and mount a projector on your ceiling. So this projector retails for about $3,500 and comes in two variants. The V7050i, which comes in black, and the V7000, which is white. Now what I have with me here today is what they call the screenless version of the 7050i, which doesn't come with a screen, so I believe they'll be releasing another version that includes an ALR screen. So in the box you get the QS01, which is an Android streaming stick. They also came with the TK700STi. You get a USB cable for the streaming stick, two remotes, which is interesting. So one of the remotes is specifically for the Android TV stick and the other is for the projector itself. You get batteries for both of the remotes, a power cable, and of course the projector. Now, as soon as I got this thing unwrapped, I could immediately see that BenQ put some thought into the design of this projector. The first thing you'll notice compared to the other ultra short throws out there is that you don't see a lens on top, and that's because there's a motorized cover that slides back when the projector is powered on. This looks pretty dope and seems like it will prevent dust and debris from making its way to the lens when it's off. And once the top goes back, you can see the lens and eye protection sensors. Also on top is a nice capacitive power button placed on the front corner. The front has a nice gray fabric with the IR sensor on the right, and hidden behind the fabric is a pair of 5-watt speakers. On the right side, it has some ventilation along with two USB ports, ventilation ports on the other side, and on the back there are two HDMI 2.0 ports with ARC support, and HDMI 1 is dedicated to the Android TV stick. It also has another USB port, RS-232, and an optical audio out. And you get 4 adjustable feet on the bottom, which like most ultra short throws are 100% necessary for getting it lined up on the screen. And hidden in the back of the unit are 2 rulers to help you with positioning. So you just pull these out and use the measurements to determine the exact distance for your screen size. Alright, so what are the specs? Well, this thing is loaded with features. It uses a single chip laser with the 0.47 inch DLP chip. The laser light source gives you 20,000 hours of lamp life as well as fantastic brightness. It has great color accuracy, covering up to 98% of DCI-P3, which is great considering it still produces 2500 lumens. It runs on Android TV OS and supports HDR10, HLG, 3D for the 3D fans out there, and HDMI CEC. It also has a motorized focus as well as dual 5-watt internal speakers. So like most ultra short throw aka laser TVs, installation is pretty simple and it supports screen sizes from 70 to 120 inches. To get up and running, you just plug the included Android TV stick into the HDMI 1 port, plug the USB cable into the bottom USB port on the side, and plug in the power cord. Getting the projector aligned on the screen can take some time, but you can use the measurements in the user guide to give you an idea of how high your TV stand and your screen should be. Once you get it lined up, you can use the remote and motorized lens to get the sharpness dialed in. So here I have it paired up with a 100-inch ambient light rejecting screen with CLR screen material, which is designed specifically for an ultra short throw, and the projector sits about 8.8 inches from the screen and about 10 inches below it. So considering this is a laser projector or laser TV, it does have lasers and it does come with eye protection sensors. And the eye protection sensors on this projector work great. They didn't activate unless they sensed something above the projector, and thankfully walking closely in front of it didn't trigger them. Alright, so now that we talked about the specs and design, let's take a look at the performance. So as I mentioned earlier, this uses the same exact Android TV stick that came with the TK700STi, and this does a great job. I really like Android TV and it runs really snappy with this TV stick and does everything I wanted to do, including stream 4K content with no issues. It has access to most of the popular streaming apps, and the only one that seemed to be missing was Netflix, which has been fairly common with a lot of projectors lately. But this can be fixed by either casting from another device or using another streaming box like an Nvidia Shield, Roku, or Apple TV. So I mentioned earlier that this comes with two remotes, the Android TV remote and the projector remote. Well, as confusing as it might sound, both of these remotes work well for most projector functions. You can power the projector on or off with both, and you can even control the Android TV stick with both. The place where they differ is that the Android TV remote isn't backlit and doesn't have all of the shortcut buttons for the projector functions like the projector remote. And the projector remote wouldn't let me control the volume since the volume is on the directional pad. Now I'm sure there's probably a way to get the volume buttons to work, but I couldn't figure it out, so I mostly found myself using the Android TV remote since it supports nearly all of the projector functions and also has a microphone built in for the Google Assistant voice functions. So once I got this thing up and running, the very first thing I played on this was Avengers Infinity War in 4K HDR since I've seen it on so many different projectors, and I was blown away by not only the brightness, but also the HDR tone mapping. Not only was the HDR much brighter than a lot of the other ultra short throws, but the color accuracy was fantastic. HDR is always the toughest thing to produce on a projector, so I had high hopes after seeing this, so I watched a few more 4K movies and they all looked great. The image was razor sharp and the colors popped just like a TV. Probably the biggest thing I noticed was how great the focus uniformity was on the screen. In the past, this has always been something that ultra short throw projectors have struggled with, but this has some of the best sharpness and focus that I've seen so far. And the image from this projector is super bright. Most ultra short throws claim brightness anywhere from 2500 to 3000 lumens, but this projector is not only really bright, but the colors look absolutely stunning, and it really does look a lot like a TV. Here you can see that even with the windows open and the overhead lights on, that this thing looks great on a 100-inch ambient light rejecting screen. And it has 4 preset picture modes: bright, bright cinema, filmmaker mode, and DCI-P3. And I found that bright cinema mode was my favorite since you still get great brightness while maintaining fantastic color accuracy. As far as image quality, the only thing that could be better were the black levels, which is pretty common with bright laser projectors. Blacks appear to be dark gray with most content, which is more noticeable with the projector at its brightest setting. And this projector does have dynamic iris, but you can only activate it in Smart Eco mode. And it does help the black levels a little bit by dimming the overall image, but not quite as much as I would have liked. Alright, so what about gaming? Well, I knew when I saw a super high color accuracy rating that we were gonna have to give up a little bit on input lag, and I was right. So when I measured the input lag, I got around 91 milliseconds for 1080p and 75 milliseconds for 4K. Now this is still a bit too high for my personal taste, but casual gamers might be okay with this. And as far as the built-in speakers, they had nice and crisp detailed sound, but they were a bit too low for me. Now considering this has dual 5-watt internal speakers, I wasn't expecting to be blown away, but it didn't sound like the speakers were maxed out, so it could have been the movie soundtrack, but I think they could boost the volume a bit in an over-the-air update. Thankfully it does support ARC as well as optical, so you can easily connect it to your home theater receiver or soundbar. So with this projector being so bright, how was the noise? Well, it has 3 brightness modes: normal, economic, and Smart Eco. Out of the box, it was in Eco mode, which is really quiet. Switching to normal mode produces a bit of a hum from the fans, which is only distracting when nothing is playing from the speakers. Honestly, this thing is so bright on a 100-inch screen that I really don't see a need for you to use normal mode unless you have a 120-inch screen. Alright, so I think it's pretty clear that I really like this projector, but you guys know me, and like I always say, no product is perfect. The first thing is black levels. Now to be fair, this is really common among ultra short throws considering we're giving up a bit of black levels for added brightness, but I did find myself wanting dark scenes to look a little bit more black than dark gray. The brightness and color accuracy sort of makes up for the black levels, but if you're expecting deep blacks, then you're gonna have a hard time with an ultra short throw. And the second issue, which I just mentioned, is the speakers. Now again, the speakers sound really good, but they did lack volume, which I believe might be something that they can address easily with a firmware update. And the last thing is input lag. So as I said earlier, I expected that this would have high input lag considering how great the color accuracy is. The best I was able to get was just under 75 milliseconds with 4K gaming, and even that is a bit too high for me. Now to be fair, this projector isn't geared towards gamers, and thankfully BenQ does have some fantastic options out there like the TK700 STI. But overall, I really do like this projector, including things like the distance meter, multiple remotes, a motorized cover, and amazing color accuracy and brightness are what makes this projector stand out from the rest. I still need to do a comparison of all of the short throws I have laying around here, but so far this one is certainly somewhere near the top of the list so far. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Now I know a lot of you guys were expecting to see the Epson LS500 review this week, and I promise you it's coming really soon. I had some issues on my part that held up the video, but I just got everything worked out, so the LS500 and LS300 video is next up on my list. But hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, as always, go ahead and make sure you mash that like button for me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification so you don't miss any new videos. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next video.